All right, so here we are coming back to the CCAD thing. Now we spent our 90-minute session or so, the last one, which should be in order if you're watching the playlist on YouTube. So just gonna put a plug in for all the ways you can watch this right now. You can be a live participant on rbxrob.tv during the scheduled times. You can go to rbxrob.tv and it'll redirect you to Twitch and click on the About, and you can see the schedule there. Or you can click on the link if you're on mobile, and you can go get the Google schedule and add it to your phone or whatever if you want to know what's up. I actually am changing the schedule pretty frequently. Like just today, I just added this new session, which wasn't planned before, and I'm tweaking it all the time. So if you want to watch that, that's the place to turn your notifications on if you want to know. That's really the way to know what's coming. I don't use the scheduling system from Twitch because it seems to be broken most of the time. And beyond that, I think I'm going to go ahead and take my headphones off because I don't need them for this video. I usually have them on because I'm listening to music or something while we're doing stuff. So yeah, there's a playlist that goes with this. All the videos should actually have a link to the show notes. If you found a problem with it, you can either add an issue in the GitHub, or you can add a comment. And I can't promise I'm going to read the comments, so I haven't figured out an easy way to read all the YouTube comments. So I'm actually trying to figure out an automated way to do that, so I could just read them all from the command line, because I'm not going to go through and them all through the web interface anyway. So what is the goal for today? So the primary objectives for today, again, another thing I'm going to say every time, these are 2-hour videos, so you can watch hopefully the first 5 minutes to decide what the goal of the video is, and then the last 5 minutes to decide what we actually did, because this is not scripted at all, so we might end up doing something completely different. So if you really want to know the summary of the video, jump all the way to the end of it right now and watch what happened, what we ended up arriving at, and that should give you a sense of what we did today. And then you can go back into the video and pick out and double speed it or whatever if you want to get anything. But this is very dirty. This is not designed to be, formatted and prepared content. It's very, very messy co-learning as a community, and that's just how it is. If you don't like it, there's lots of other resources. So the first decision we have to make is, what are we going to make? Okay, so what are we going to make? So we already know. So I think the best way to learn anything is to make something in it, and then to do all the learning along the way. Now, obviously that leaves gaps, right? There's some things that won't be there. So for example, if we made an application that didn't have persistent storage, we would miss out on all the opportunity to learn about PVCs and PVs. So we have to kind of shoot in the dark here and find an application that's going to touch on every single thing that we can make. And there's probably some opinions out there that others have about what the best applications are for that. But in my case, I actually kind of know what I want to make already, because I personally want to make, I want to make something that's related to managing an online / live community. So the application that I want to build, this is well beyond like a Hello World kind of application, right? I want to, what's that? App storing data in PV, init container cloning, hit repo, and sidecar update that repo copy. Yeah, something like that, right? So I don't know if I want to do Elastisearch. I think there's kind of 2 parts to CKAD. One of them is creating applications. I'm going to put this in here. To me, it seems like there are 2 approaches to CKAD. So one of them is that you're going to install and configure existing applications, right? So that's not really development though, but that's applications management, and God knows that that's, hey, how's it going? Espil, God knows that that's a super big, the first requirement I had on my job was to install and configure Jupyter Hub and Kubernetes. And you can see lots of videos of me trying to do that. We ultimately decided that we had made enough headway before that project's been kind of, backlotted, I guess, whatever you want to call it. And it may come up again, but we made tremendous progress on that project. But the reason I'm saying is that there was no original development on it. There was tweaking, and I had to write, JavaScript and HTML and Python and YAML, and I had to do all kind of OAuth configuration and OPA gatekeeper policy. I had to do a ton of tweaks to the existing application to get it to fit into our environment. And I personally think that falls under this CKAD umbrella of skills and learning. You're not developing something new, but you're taking an existing application. And in many cases, I had to read the source code of Kubernetes or Jupyter Hub or the Kube Spawner. So I had to be able to read Go and read Python and read the YAML and the Helm charts and the Golang templates. I had to read all of it in order to figure out how the application worked so I could get it to work in our environment. And so, installing applications, I don't know, but I feel like since they added Helm, CKAD is supposed to be about developing, right? The concepts and patterns. And actually, you've done the CKAD, right, Black Mouse? So you could tell us. I mean, I know you can't tell us specifics because of the agreement, but it stands for the Certified Kubernetes Application Developer. So I mean, the obvious one is it's understand the concepts and patterns for applications development, and that you can do that through making an application or just talking about it, I assume. Okay. So that's kind of the thing. I mean, if you want to read, I should probably put a related note here. Let's do this. Let me give you a direct link to this because it takes like 10 minutes to find it. So we're going to give you guys one. So there's actually, oh boy. Oh, that's not good. I forgot to do my tmux on that, so I'm going to have to do a different way, but it'll work. So let's do Kubernetes CKAD curriculum. Let me give you the link to this curriculum. I'm going to go find it. I have it in my Zet, but this is fine. Here we go. So this is the CNCF curriculum site. I'm going to go ahead and add that link. All right. So now I can add it back here. I should probably turn my S keys on. I don't know if you guys, oopsie, wrong thing. Yep. It's because I'm trying to use the B. This is Max laughing because I'm using B. I can't do the B. I don't like it. I'm a Control A tmux guy because it's like screen. I gotta turn S keys back on for y'all. Here we go. All right, so links A. I'll pull in the link. So this is the only reference we have whatsoever to the open source curriculum for CNCF courses, and it's a one-page PDF that tells you exactly what's going to be on it. But so that's actually a good reference point. Let's actually open it using a graphic browser so I can show it to you. I'm trying to go fast because I wanted these 2-hour sessions to be more useful. So this actually was updated pretty recently. CKS, CKA, CKAD. So Certified Kubernetes Application Developer. I'm sorry for the white, but 20% application design and build. That means understanding jobs and cron jobs, building things, understanding multi-pod container design patterns, sidecars, and init. Utilize persistence and ephemeral volumes, which we're going to do. So if you don't have those things in your project that you're trying, I mean, you could definitely pass this by not making a project and being able to talk about these things, I imagine. But I think, making something with them is going to be the best education. So that's my strategy anyway. If you think there's a better one, let me know. 20% applications deployment, Kubernetes primitives. So this is what I was just talking about. Applications deployment. That's like getting Jupyter Hub to work in Kubernetes and that kind of thing. Using Kubernetes primitives to implement common deployment strategies, blue, green, or canary. And this blue and green is like both of them are production, and then you kind of switch between the two. Understanding deployments and how to perform rolling updates. Use the Helm package manager to deploy existing packages. This was not in the certification last year. So using the Helm package manager to deploy existing packages. Notice this doesn't say create a Helm chart. However, I think, Helm is now officially in the cert, which, I don't like Helm. Everybody knows I don't, but it's officially a part of the cert. So, whether you like that or not, it's mainstream. It's the only mature package manager project. What about scaffold? It's not in here. If you're talking about the same one that I'm thinking of, are you talking about the project? So 15% application observability and maintenance, understand API deprecations. That's not depreciation, by the way. I see people say depreciation here all the time, some of whom have been in the industry a long time and know better, and they've never read the word. It's deprecation. Um, so, and implement probes and health checks, provide tools for Kubernetes monitoring, utilize container logs, debugging Kubernetes. So services and networking, demonstrating basic network policies. This is a pain in the ass. Knowing how services work and ingress and all that. Troubleshooting access applications versus services. Actually, somebody told me about NetShoot, which I don't think is going to be on the test, but it is really helpful. It basically injects a container into your pod that's got all the network tools on it, so you can like kind of look around and see what's up. Use ingress rules to expose applications. This one's really problematic too because was it most fun part of CKAD is there's about 90% from CKA. Yeah, I know, and that's did you think was it redundant? So if you learn CKA, you would have CKAD already, vice versa. Yeah. So this bullet point for ingress is actually kind of problematic for me because I can do ingress, but we use Istio. Pretty much everybody does, and you're using virtual servers. If you're doing that, it's a CRD that's not anything to do with like the built-in ingress. And it doesn't say that you need to learn like the default Kubernetes ingress, which is Nginx ingress, which had a massive security hole last week that was announced. Massive security hole that gives up all of your cluster secrets. So pretty much everything from CKAD and a bit more cluster setup. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't even know if I need both of the certificates, but I'll be able to talk about that. So, and this changes from year to year too. So application environment configuration security, discover the use of resources that extend Kubernetes custom resource definitions. And this includes operators and other stuff. And I actually want to make an operator, so I'm going to try that. I have a feeling I'm going to be doing more than what's required to learn. Thanks for the follow, but we're going to try that anyway. Understand and define resource requirements, limits, and quotas. This is part of the OPA policies that I had to learn about the hard way. We have a tool called deploy chart, which takes our Helm chart and runs it against all the OPA policies, the gatekeeper OPA gatekeeper policies, and tells us whether we have resource constraints and stuff like that, and what's up with that. Understanding config maps and secrets, of course, service accounts and security context. So yeah, I mean, I don't even know why they call this curriculum. It's not a curriculum. These are like the requirements. I think they struggle with how to put into words the I wish they would learn from the CISSP community and what they've done. They've made a huge document that contains all of the line items of things you have to know that the community maintains in very specific detail. And I wish we had that. This doesn't seem to have much detail, this last page. So whatever. At the end of the day, even if I don't get it, I need to know how to deploy an existing application and make modifications as necessary for my environment. So that's sort of like these days that would be modifying Helm and looking through the templates and understanding it, right? And then in addition to that, I need to be able to make an application and develop it. And that's the fun part, right? So the fun part is install and configure, application development, and then, create and deploy applications, new applications. And that would mean Helm and everything. So I'm actually going to break this time up. Yeah, I would love to hear you suggest stuff if you have anything, anybody who's got their cert already. Interesting developing. Yeah. So I have some things that I want to make. So obviously the making things is going to be more fun. So I feel like we need to pick a project for each. So and I feel like we need to pick a project. So init sidecar app database plus PV. Yeah, I have a project already for that. Yeah. So I'm gonna probably stick with mine because I want, but it has to be designed and stuff too. So, um, what's common pattern for any program? Yeah, init sidecar app plus database plus PV. Oh, right. Deploy a new application. So let's actually put that here. Let's put that in this. That's a nice. That's a nice way to describe it. Init sidecar app database base plus PV. So I already am biased. One of the projects I want to do is to deploy Elastisearch. Deploy Elastisearch. Elasticsearch. And or whatever. Was it ECK? ECK stack. And yeah, in the same time. Yeah. So are you using ECK or ECL? We're gonna do ECK because that's what we're doing at work. So we're like right in the middle of deploying Elasticsearch to an infrastructure cluster. That's not proprietary news or anything. Service mesh, yeah. I'm thinking about doing the Elasticsearch with the service mesh with Istio. The problem with Istio is, do we want to put them in the same infrastructure or not? Our Elasticsearch, so deploying Istio is a big deal, but Istio, I kind of feel like Istio should be a part of load balancing. Yeah, well, but we're not going to do. Are you talking about the external load balancing for the ingress? Because you have to have an external load balancer before you can do the ingress, right? And you're talking about the internal load balancing. Yeah, well, there's different ones, right? After ingress, yeah, definitely for sure. For sure, we're going to do that. Yeah, absolutely. That's like one of the biggest things. So Istio is its own beast, and you're almost always deploying Istio. So I don't know whether we should put Istio as a part of the overall project. I feel like if we did our own applications development and then we made it so that it was we were deploying an application into an environment that had Istio already in it. Do you know what I mean? So this is another kind of complication with our preparation, right? So you're developing an application. Well, what are you developing your application for? Are you developing it for any kind of infrastructure, or are you developing it to go with Istio? This is one of the problems Helm has, is it can't guess what your cluster configuration is going to be, and you may have things that are deployed that are going to constraints and stuff. That it's another reason Helm charts don't ever put constraints like run as root, that kind of thing. They don't put that stuff in there because they expect the cluster owners to have policies about that and to add them in, and so you end up with Helm charts that are not compliant with certain policies and stuff, because by default policies, because they don't do all of that. And so this gets complicated because it's like, if you just say, look, I just want to make a Kubernetes Hello World app that touches all the bases, right? It has an init, a sidecar, app, database, PV, maybe load balancing. We need load balancing in here. Load balancing, balancing, and frankly, I would want to deploy an app like Elastisearch, because Elastisearch has redundant pod and PV. That's how it takes care of scaling, which is really cool. Always put resource requests and limit in deployments. Absolutely. Yeah, you have to put resource request limits, but the problem is that Helm doesn't put them in there by default, and this is something beginners don't get. And I learned this the hard way. I tried to deploy, and our deployment tool that runs on top of Helm caught it and said, "I'm sorry, you don't have a RAM constraint or a RAM limit set," and which you should be doing. You should have some sort of checks and balances before you're deploying stuff into your system that's doing this. And but yeah, and service mesh. So I do think deploying Istio by itself as an application to go through the steps for doing it and understanding how it works and stuff. I think it's pretty fair to say, after looking at the PDF, that deploying applications is a part of the CKAD. I don't know if it goes as deep as deploying Elasticsearch or Istio. I'll tell you this though, deploying Elasticsearch, the ECK stack, you're going to get all kinds of education about how PVC works, about how load balancing works, and auto scaling. I already did Jupyter Hub, which had a ton of daemon sets in it. So you want to pick things that have lots of pieces to them so that you can kind of have an experience with all of those pieces. It was a pain to arrange the node taints and other stuff. Oh my god, yeah. You're dealing with a huge GPU Kubernetes cluster. It's not a single service with limits. Yeah. Black Mouse, have you played around with the new GPU node discovery? Can I suggest you look at that? You might like it, actually. I mean, it might help your. I installed that recently. So there's node feature discovery, which is an improved Kubernetes project, which exposes a ton of labels that you can limit. And by the way, if you need to know how to do the limit with a regular expression, if you don't want all the labels, I can show you how to do that. Yeah, you move from ML. Oh, okay. So the point I'm trying to make is you can do. So there's node feature discovery, which is I think it's a daemon set that runs that injects a ton of labels into all of your nodes, so you can use node affinity for that in more precise detail. It talks about what. Thanks for the sub. It talks about like what level you're at. It talks about what all that stuff. And then I did, but so NVIDIA recently came out with beta of something called thanks for that follow node with this. NVIDIA came out with something called GPU feature discovery, and so it gives you tons of information that's prefixed in the namespace with NVIDIA, so you can make labels. If you're doing ML, I can't imagine doing ML without it. Yeah, did you find it? Louis Senti is there. He's on it. So just so you know, NVIDIA GPU feature discovery has a strong hard dependency on node feature discovery. And I deployed both of those in our cluster. That was actually one of my first successes on this new job. So I know how to do that. If you need to ask, I went through all the hookups on that. The biggest hookup I had on that was not understanding the way to eliminate. They wanted me to eliminate the labels, and I can talk. I actually wrote about that. I think it's in my notes here. Let me take a peek here. Let me see. Set edit discovery. Yeah, there it is. Kubernetes node feature discovery, node namespaces combined. Yeah, I made some notes already about this. Here you go. So this right here, this one little thing. Oh, thanks for the sub. This little line right here will save you fucking days of research. Oh my god, it is so. Dude, it took me so long to figure out about how actually look through the source code. This is another case where I looked through the code and go, and this is really great. Thank you. So I mean, I had to look through the source code to figure out what it did, and that was where I figured it out. I can't tell you how many times being able to read the Go source code has come in handy for doing Kubernetes research, because so many times it's not documented. So you go find it, you go search it out in the Kubernetes code, and you can answer it. So people say, oh, you don't need to learn Go to be able to do this. I'm telling you, put Go, if you're going to do cloud, put Go as a top priority. You need to learn Bash, which implies you know POSIX, and you need to learn Go above everything, and YAML, of course. And if you do that, to do on this one, no, I was. Now they have regular expressions in YAML. Yeah. This is actually a string, just so you know. This is a string. What's really crazy, what's really fucked up is that this is a string of YAML embedded within a YAML file. That's what this is. I'm not kidding you. So, so this says put this string, and then this is a regular expression, but it has to be a string. God help you if you don't make it a string. YAML is YAML. Yeah. So, but this right here says that this is a string. This isn't even YAML. This is a string of YAML that then gets put into another file as YAML. Hype train choo choo. Are we getting there? We got 2 subs already. Who knows? Yeah, it would be cool. Well, whatever. I mean, I appreciate that support, of course. No matter, this isn't a thing already. Strings already. So do not forget your node selector in the GPU Helm chart. Damon said that you include a label to link to your list. So a scam train. So, such as the video GPU fusion. The reason I want to put this here is because there's like a shit ton of labels that it adds that can kind of be, that can kind of annoy you. And this is a way to limit the labels that are being shown. But it's really great because we just added a whole bunch of A100 GPUs. And now you can say, in Node Affinity, you can say, not only do I want a GPU, I want a GPU that's an A100. Thank you very much. And if you don't know what I'm talking about with Node Affinity is a way to pass a selector which matches a particular label and then make sure that your pod, job, whatever, doesn't run on anything that doesn't match. That's Node Affinity. And then there's taints and tolerations, which are kind of related to that. It's a more complicated idea of the same thing. And taints, if you taint something, then you've kind of branded it saying, I'm tainted. And the idea is that anything that doesn't tolerate a tainted thing doesn't get passed in. It's a little bit more of a groupy way to approach, labels, which are just, does this label match or not? So taints and tolerations like, do I tolerate this label up to this given point? It's a little bit more complicated way of matching. And all of that stuff, by the way, is just to try to say, I have an image, ultimately a container that needs to run inside a pod, and that pod needs to be coupled with one of these machines out here, a node, and that node has to fit a specific amount of criteria. You can actually get very precise. You can say, I want this job to only run on this specific PC and or whatever, node. And you can actually get that precise if you want. It seems silly to do that in an orchestration framework, but you can do it. You can say, we only have 3 systems that can do, I don't know, high-end Maya builds or something, which you probably want Nomad for that anyway. But, and in which case you would say, associate with those and go for that. So those are out there. I'm not going to put that in today's show notes, even though I guess I probably should. Yeah, I don't. What should we do? I don't know if that's useful for this video though. I mean, let's try it. So, link. Let me just try this. Give me a sec. Set link discovery. So let's put all these in here. So there we go. There they are. I'm going to get rid of their links. This is just a way for you to go look it up. I use IDs, kind of like a card catalog system, because I don't know that the link's always going to be to the same place. So you can go look up those things. This just means it's in my thing. You can go look it up if you want, wherever that is. It's just my system because I'm sick and tired of like moving everything and breaking all the links. So yeah, you can go look up that. But I did talk about that, so it's probably worth mentioning in the video where to go find that. What else? So we deploy Elastisearch, which is, this one is definitely something I do. I need to deploy Istio, even though I don't want to do that. That's like one of these projects that I have to do. I really don't like Istio. I don't like it. Sue me. I just don't. I don't like Istio. I know I need it, but I fucking hate it. I hate Istio. You know what drives me crazy about Istio is it sticks its fucking container in front of everything else. So you have to -C everything after that. I know we have to do it for experience. Look, Istio isn't okay. All right, let's talk about it. So there's actually a really good diagram on Istio out there. What is Istio? Red Hat did a great thing. I didn't learn until very recently that Istio was a YouTube project and they still gatekeeping on it. That's somebody else's words, not mine, meaning that they're kind of, not letting people make changes to it. I've heard that that's what they're doing with Go too, and that really concerned me. Yeah, I'll show you what, there's actually does anybody have, Lucenti probably has it. There's a really good Red Hat link that shows all the needs that the Istio microservice mesh fulfills. Yeah, the sidecar as a service, I fucking hate it. It's just annoying as a developer and an admin, because you never get the right thing, and you won't know that until we install it. So I'll show you what that means by that. Let's go ahead and open up a graphic version of this. I'm trying to find the Red Hat one. Where's the Red Hat one? It's, you know what? It might be in my Zet. Let me go check. it might be, yeah, sidecar injected Kubernetes pods, Istio gateway and virtual service not ingress, Istio host not actually service. Fucks up kube control run forever. I fucking hate that this Istio literally kills kube control run. You can't do it anymore. If you install it, you can never kube control run a pod. So you can't use NetShoot and stuff like that if it's Istio, because it ruins it. It's really messed up, man. It makes me very angry, because it's just it breaks things that I don't even think that they're aware that they're breaking. And you can read about that. But so let me see. Is that edit? Let's edit. Well, Istio. Let me see all the stuff I have. I probably have the. Yeah, here we go. Istio project. Today I learned this from running Istio. If installed in a Kubernetes cluster, will inject what it calls a sidecar into all pods deploying the namespace for which Istio has been configured. The most noticeable intermediate side effect is that you no longer have to pass. Wait, is that what? Immediate side effect of that is that you now have to, that's wrong, have to pass -c container to your kube exec calls when connecting directly to running node. You'll see a prompt like this. Obviously direct connected to via exec is not something I do often, other than to work on development systems until they're ready for production. That's no longer true either. I exec all the fucking time into stuff. That that must have been when I was really young and newbie. So I'm going to commit that one. I had changed. This is my notes, in case you're wondering. That's a simple way to say it. So what is the second one I have here? Istio gateway and virtual service, not ingress. As if there were not enough standard Kubernetes objects to commit to memory, Istio has replaced ingress with gateway and virtual service. Thankfully, Kube Control Explain helps you out here to understand, but not much. I'm still working on it. I'm just looking at my notes here. No. Let's do number 3. It's a virtual service host actually means service. Terms matter, especially to me. It drives me crazy. Istio decided to name spec HTTP match route destination host instead of service, since that is a value required. The reason they did that, I now understand, is because service is already a taken resource name, and that's why. Prometheus exporter. However, it turns out that there an explanation Istio can be run on VMs without any need for it to be in Kubernetes at all. Even though the YAML files, virtual service is not enough. Thanks for the follow. That solves the mystery of the horrible naming. Okay, what else do I have? Actually, Istio, yeah, I don't have it. I don't have it in here. I didn't get the Red Hat thing. And I wonder, here, let me try something else. I'm searching through all my notes here. Anything I have on Red Hat. I don't have anything on Red Hat. I'm pretty sure it's the case. I literally have no notes on Red Hat right now. They're all in other places. I got to migrate them. That's really funny. All right. So let me see if I can find it. Istio. God, it's such a good thing too. I got to put it in here. Micro service mesh. You know the chart I'm talking about? It's kind of like a mandala, and it has all the stuff that IT provides, and then it has all the stuff that Kubernetes covers, and then it has the specific things that Istio fills in that Kubernetes doesn't cover. You've probably seen the chart. It's really well done, and I for some reason I don't have a link to it, so I'm trying to find it. Istio service mesh pattern. I doubt this is it, but we'll try. I'm just going to zoom through this really quick. Oh, God. No. This somebody had their own diagram. It's a different diagram, but it's not the one I'm looking for. It's not bad. It's just not the same. It's actually... ooh. I think this is it. It's definitely hosted on Red Hat. Yeah. Red Hat is a tough company for me. Sometimes I'm like really impressed by them, and at other times I'm like, oh my God. Like they don't even use Go templates for their CE tool. It's like, You can use PHP templates, but you can't use Go templates. I'm like, what the fuck? There's just so many dumbass things. But then on the other hand, they've got a lot of good things. So it's hard to enter the service mesh. There's AB. That's not it. God damn it! If anybody else knows what I'm looking for, if you can find the diagrams, I feel bad that I don't have a link. You know, I always regret like not saving figures and because I'm like, I got my answer and I move on. And I'm gonna stop doing that because this is important. Java Spring Boot. I went to Red Hat Summer and they were bought by IBM. Yes. Yeah, the two guest speakers were IBM CEO and Microsoft CEO. Everyone clapped for the Microsoft CEO. That's your work stack. Yeah, I use Red Hat too. I used it for years. I noticed you were like struggling with APT the other day, and I was like, oh, that's cute, because I used to do that too. You know, I started using Ubuntu at home and everything, but I was Red Hat forever. I had Fedora for 15 years at IBM. Yeah, he was not happy. Oh my God, me too. Watching Liberty die. Oh my God, exactly, in the Senate. So this is how Liberty dies. The sound of glory. We have to find that clip right now. I'm sorry, YouTubers. You're just going to have to bear with me. I have to find that, or I will never find it. So this is the sound of Liberty dying. It's like one of the best. So this is how Liberty dies. Oh, did you find it, Black Mouse? Wait. I got to share this. Copy. All right, give me a sec. I'm pretty fast at this, so don't worry. We made this on one weekend. It's kind of fun. It's called Clip. I'm gonna do X add Liberty paste. Yeah, I don't know how long it'll take to download. Oh, wow, it's not too bad. Yeah. Service mesh. Ooh, let me go find that. Yeah, let me see if I can find it. It's a Red Hat diagram, though. This previous page is sending you to redirect to this page. I hope you're not sending me anything bad. Вот, это все на русском языке. Ну что же? Нет, это не вот. Это не то. Не то. Не то. Это может быть первый. Sorry for the Russian, guys, but I just actually opened a page in Russian. So my brain clicked over. So yeah, let's play it. X Liberty. I have to try this.
In order to ensure the security and continuing stability
of Linux as IBM
the first galactic empire
for a safe and secure society.
So this is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
With thunderous applause. Nice line there, George Lucas. Not famous for his dialogue. Did you find it? Oh no. I mean, that's good, but that's not it. Yeah. This is good though. Yeah. So ingress, proxy, service B, blah, blah, blah. I mean, the people are wondering why to use Istio, and I kind of want them to understand that. What are we going to call this? What is this called? What do you think? What do you think we should call it? Yep. You want to show you something else that's cool? Watch this. Zet screenshot. Boom. Take a screenshot and then press enter. Because, oh wait, I got to turn the, shit, I got to turn the dark off. Watch your eyes. That's not bad. All right, so here we go. Screenshot. I know. I mean, I might as well. It's the same resolution. I don't give a shit. Screenshot. What are we going to call this? Istio? All right. Press enter. And it copies it, and it makes a name that's got exactly the same size, so you can actually use that in your HTML if you want to. So you don't have to sit around and wait for the page to re-render and screw up your stuff. Istio architecture. And then save it. Commit yes. Yeah, check this out. Z open last. And now I have a picture in my Git repo. Isn't that fun? Because Bash, people learn to script. That's all I have to say. Learn to script. You can do amazing things. And this is actually a uniquely identified name now that I could use everywhere. And it's like personally, I make sure to use screenshots because that forces them to be small raster images. And I can still put big images in if I want to, but I don't want to bloat my Zettelkasten repo with stuff that's unnecessary. But I can add figures. I call these figures. And then you can actually search out all the figures. It puts that little thing in the name so that you can identify them easily rather than having to use a tag or something. So then you can pull them into other stuff. But I need to start doing that more. I forgot to do that with this one that we're looking for. How much time have I spent on it already? Like 25 minutes? If I had done it the first time, I'd have it there to go look at, you know? So I might have to leave that and then come back to it. So yeah. It basically, it talks about all the things that microservices do. Services, yes, source mesh microservice. Maybe it's this one. No. It's such a pretty picture too. It's such a pretty picture. And now I can't find it. I cannot find it. Oh well. I mean, you guys were asking what Istio is, and I'm kind of down the rabbit hole, and now I'm just kind of obsessed with finding that stupid picture. You know what? I know what. Through the power of the internet, we Istio diagram microservices. This isn't supposed to be about Istio. We're going to look at images. Yeah. There's probably a packed book about it. Touche. They're referencing a video I recently made about slamming on Pack Publishing for being crap. You have to watch the video to understand why I think that. How's it going, Doppelganger? Good to see you. You played the new hero that just came out? The new Dota 2 hero? We got annihilated last night by somebody who mastered the new hero. It's like the opposite of Huskar. It's insane. All right, I mean, you probably would kick ass with it. I no. I'm a casual. We just, in case people are wondering, I just was joined by one of our Dota 2 fans here. I've not watched it. My stepson said you really need to watch the Dota 2 anime before you see the new hero come out. I feel like they're pandering to the League of Legends crowd with the new hero. I'm sorry, guys. I'm looking for a thing while I'm talking. I'll know it when I see it. So it's like two parts of my brain at the same time. But yeah. So I feel like because the anime here, like first of all, they changed the race of Dragon Knight. They changed the race. If you look at Dragon Knight is distinctly black. He's definitely black. And then after the anime, they turned him into Chinese or whatever. I don't even know. And that's fine, I guess. It's their game. They can do what they want. But, they totally changed the lore. And then they made everything look really cartoony. It's like they're going for the League of Legends crowd. Note-taking system. It's called Zettelkasten. I've been using vanilla Vim for some time. You know what? You can use Vim. Look, if you want to talk about Zettelkasten another day, let's talk about it. All it is just a way to put your stuff in a Git repo and just use common marks so that you're not locked into anything. Not Obsidian, not Word, not Emacs, nothing. You're not locked into anything. And then you can make your own systems and scripts around it to manage it. And you can share it with your buddies and everything. I kind of came up with sort of, finally, a universal way to just dump stuff. And then you can render it however you want after that, right? You can do SSH, Gmax, Emacs. Where's my stupid... How come this thing is so hard to find? It's like, it's one of the most commonly cited I'm gonna really shoot myself. Where's Lucente when you need him? He can find anything, man. If this is stumping him, then who knows what's up. It's basically the needs of the microservice mesh and how they're covered. I mean, the needs of what the Kubernetes fulfills, and then the needs that Istio provides on top of that. And I don't see it. That's a lot. I give up. Sorry for that waste of time. If somebody finds it, put it in the comments and let me know. It's kind of a hexagonal, not really a hexagon, right? It's like all the things, and it has a central area in the middle, and then it shows what the Kubernetes covers, and then it has additional icons for what Istio covers. It's kind of an overlay on top of it. And I thought it was very interesting in answering the question, what is Istio? At a very high level, it tells you all the extra things that Istio provides that something like Nomad would not provide at all. Nomad is a container orchestration system that has nothing to do with Kubernetes. So all of this stuff is about managing, stuff that's running in your enterprise efficiently. That's really the bottom line. All right. So we're talking about deploying Istio. We got stuck on that Istio track. We only have an hour left because we were trying to decide what to build, right, and what to deploy. So we have the need to deploy an application, and then we have the need to build an application that uses everything. And coming back to the organizational scheduling kind of question from the earlier session today, I have to ask myself, do we need 2 concurrent projects for this, or should we just focus on the one? I mean, at work, I did a lot of work deploying Jupyter Hub, so that really, really helped me understand the general deployment. I had to set up Istio. I didn't have to screw around with networks at all, and I really feel and I didn't have to play around with PVC at all. So I think for me personally, I need a project that I can control, that's gonna allow me to play around with the init containers and sidecars and all the stuff that I haven't had access to, including PV. Actually, I think deploying Elastisearch is a real high priority. So I think creating, as I said before, having the one thing that's fun and the other thing that you really should do, is a thing. And that is kind of where I'm at with this. I want to create, a community. I want to create a community. Let's see, deploy Istio, pick a project for each, deploy Elastisearch, build an online community manager. So I really, really want to do this, so much so that I almost put the money down for a cluster inside of DigitalOcean to start building it. I really, really, wait, did you find it? Open a new tab. Did you find it? No, that's not it. That's cool, but that's not it. This is really cool, but that's not it. This is really cool. Yeah, this is cool. Let me screenshot this one too. What is this? Another Istio diagram, right? How big does it go? Does it go too big? If it's bigger than my screen and then I don't, that's why I screenshot it. No, there's a nice, pretty high level one. These are a little bit too detailed. No, I mean, I'm not, it's fine. I could be really picky. Snapshot. Screenshot. All right, here we go. What are we going to call this one? Istio. I guess, you know what? You can have duplicate names. You know why? Because they have unique identifiers. Yeah. Don't you love unique identifiers? I have good feelings about them because I suggested in one of our major projects at IBM, and I was a superhero for suggesting that we should not call our hosts by host names, that we should actually use unique identifiers for them. Yeah, I was like a superhero for suggesting that. And I'm like, what? What are these things called UUIDs? Nobody on my team knew I'd ever heard of one. They were all operations people. They had no idea what one was. I was like, okay. I love you guys if you're watching. But my God. Make sure you get some software development experience before you become an operations person. So let's see. Istio architecture. Yeah, I'm going to save that one now. All right. So back to where we were. Thank you for finding all of these. They're just getting added so that we don't forget them, right? Actually, let's go add them here too, shall we? Let's do that. Zet link Istio. Run it through a filter, and now we have all of that stuff. I mean, this is stuff that I talked about, so I need to alter my script for when I have a thing called external, but I can't remember it. And it will provide external links that will work from anywhere. But I don't like locking down links to a specific thing. I rather have them be more generic and open. So anyway, people are going to wonder, hey, because they're going to see them in the video, and they're going to wonder where they are. So I'll go ahead and put those there. All right. So I think let's decide a thing here, and then maybe for the last half hour we can actually do some development. Like we can start up a cluster, and we need to decide whether we're going to use Minikube, what Kubernetes platform to build on which to build. So we're going to say Minikube or kind, or we could do cloud. Or I don't have a full hardware yet. I want to build on the hardware, not yet ready. I need to build out my hardware build, my on-prem hardware build. Make fake UIDs. It looks like UID, but they just increment the third node. Yeah. Clout? No. Okay. So question. Should we try to build our online community? So the online community build application is going to be something I'm going to do for fun. And deploying Elastisearch is something I probably need to do just for the work part of it. 1, 2, and 4, all the same. Part 3 is different. Yeah, I know. That's why I like ISOSEC identifiers better. Yeah, you can do ISOSEC or ISONAN. ISOSEC and ISONAN are exactly the same thing as Type 3 UUIDs. Exactly the same thing. They're just simpler. Yeah. And they take less space, and you can think about them by writing them down. You work more on an app than on CKAD. There'll be a huge problem. What are you talking about? If I'm doing Elastisearch? It's not an application for learning purposes. What? You're talking about Elastisearch? If I do a community app? I know. The community app is mostly a development thing that is lightly related to CKA. But I promise you haven't seen my design for it yet. Okay? It's going to use PVC and everything. It's not what you think. It's not like some brand. It's going to tie into everything, and I want to make it so you can deploy operators and modules. I'm actually trying to decide whether I want to deploy it as an operator or as a Helm chart. I probably should use a Helm chart because I actually probably want to make modules for the system deployable as Helm charts, and then make its own deployment as an operator, because operators are cooler. I'm not going to use the Red Hat operator framework. People tell me that I should, but it's not on the certification exam, and writing an operator is cooler, and I get to write Go and stuff. So, question. So before we get on to the Minikube and start building shit, you fire it up, ready to deploy in a day. It's okay. Yeah. Well, the community managing system I'm making doesn't necessarily need to run in a day. I'm glad you brought that up, Black Mouse. So, Black Mouse is making the point that if you make a community app, a manager app that it's not just a bot, right? This is way more. But if you make it complex and you make it too complex, nobody will use it. If they can't deploy it in a day, then they're not going to use it. And then the question is, well, do I want people to use it, or do I just want to use it, or do I want to learn about how to make a very complex Kubernetes application easy to deploy? Did I get that wrong? So that's really the question I have, is like how, different things. Oh, right. Well, we can get into that. The real question is, do I schedule time for Elasticsearch deployment? different from building an online community, I think we should do that. I think this will all be categories under Colearning, so it'll be blue on my schedule in case you're wondering. If you're looking at the Twitch calendar, the extension that is on my about page, it will be blue. So anything that's blue is me learning something by working on something, right? And you meant that for now you want to learn CKAD and making complicated app will destroy this point. Yeah, it will, but it'll be fun. So what you're suggesting is build a simple hello Kubernetes app that does one of everything. Something like that, maybe. We should probably, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think you're right for learning, right? I don't want to do that, but I probably should. You're absolutely right. You're like my conscience today. You're absolutely right, because I want to make the cool, awesome, big thing that's going to take me 5 years to make, and I'm never going to get certified, and I'm not going to learn anything because I'm going to be rebuilding, the command line parser with rather than using Cobra or whatever, and then you never get a chance to deploy because you're building it forever. I know, but I still want to make an operator so bad. So again, remember I said the thing you have to do and the thing you want to do. So rather than playing Dota 2, even though it has a new hero, if I can let myself make an operator for fun, you know what I mean? Bite your fucking tongue. I'm not even going to repeat those words. Actually, you could do the community app as a fun thing, right? It will be done soon, right? So actually what I was thinking of doing is making like individual pieces of it deployed, like maybe putting a service that's permanently listening to Twitch and collecting all the data, rather than doing a Twitch bot, doing a Kubernetes Twitch service that's logged in as a bot and then put stuff in the PVC. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So then what I could do is I could say, okay, this little thing that I'm making, it's like one step up from a bot, and maybe we even do it in Bash. Who cares? It doesn't even really have to be, it's hard to write an IRC bot in Bash, but I'm sure it's been done. Maybe we could put WeChat in there. We could just put WeChat in there and like tail the logs and then just use that as a client. I mean, there's a million things you could do there. I don't want to get sucked into development, but the point is that instead of just doing a Twitch bot, which is a standard project for any language, we could do a Twitch bot that is a pod in a deployment, and then make that one of many things that contributes to a central database. That's the key. That's going to be, and I don't know whether to store it in Redis or whatever, that's going to be all of the messages from that service, and then combine that with messages from matrix.org and IRC and Discord, this particular channel on Discord, and we can make those bots and each one of those would be a pod deployment that ultimately is getting synchronized, and then we would get to see what does that mean to make another service within the cluster that just listens to all the inbound stuff and is our single point of failure for saving stuff in our messaging and our messaging database, and then we have that scale and everything. So that's where I kind of was going with that application. Some simple user database API in Redis or something that has their score and their points. Remember, I've been wanting to give it. I think we could do it. I'm going to put it back. I want to do it with any front end, any features, points for CKAD. Yeah. And MPB. Right. So we could use, those things, but we have to create an internal load balancer, right? We're going to have to create an internal centralized data store. It's also going to have its own API. So that central piece is going to have an API in order to receive a new message. So we're going to have to do a data schema for that, a minimal one. And then that will come in. We have to decide what our data source is going to be, whether it's going to be Postgres or Redis or just, plain old block storage, whatever. And then we have all of this stuff coming in and getting centralized into a single way at scale. And that's another reason I want to do this is Kubernetes, because imagine, let's see, was so hyped about community apps. So I seem like you spent 98% of the time in developing it, 1% in CKAD. Absolutely. Could easily do that. But I actually want to do this because I want to leverage the reason that we use Kubernetes for load balancing and for auto healing and declarative and all that stuff. I want to be able to really bring those benefits to bear on this, because the biggest disadvantage of doing any community management system that's dealing with live real-time chat is the scale. I mean, you watch some of these, just chatting people, they're getting 20, 30 messages a second, and that's just from Twitch. Imagine trying to read in all the comments from YouTube, as well as live stream from content and IRC and Discord. Imagine having all of that come into a central place that has to be managed in a way that keeps everything chronologically in sync, which is probably why we'll probably go with InfluxDB for our database, and then the load balancing for all and then the logging. You see what I'm saying, right? For basic CKAD would be enough to API in a database, right? But what I'm trying to get at is that we could make one piece of the infrastructure would get us the CKAD. You see what I mean? So if I just did a Twitch integration and I just set up, like an InfluxDB, and I just set up logging to that, and I just set up an internal API to talk to that, and then I just set up, an external ingress, so I have a remote client able to talk to an authenticated API to get the current stream of data. You know what I mean? Yeah, something like the Kafka bus in there. Possibly. Yeah, I haven't looked at Kafka hardly at all, but yeah, that was like something about like catching everything and moving it around and synchronizing it. And that's the other thing. So yeah, if we did InfluxDB, actually InfluxDB is the place where I placed one of my junior engineers. Yeah, for 100K. Yeah, I was super proud of that. So I actually want to kind of get into InfluxDB because I know some of the guys on the core team, like at least two. The other guy I don't know very well, but so. Yeah, and so but the thing is, if we do it like that, then we can create. It makes me want to kill people. I don't see. This is the thing. We can have these debates about technology selection and stuff, and it would be fun, As a data engineer in the past, yeah. But I'm curious because I haven't gotten into the guts of InfluxDB at all. I'm a big Postgres, ASC compliant, old hat. That's the kind of thing I did. I did the entire data model for our virtual server administrator application at IBM, all of it, and I had never done any data modeling at all. And I learned a ton of lessons the hard way. Like, I don't know, don't put everything into a single table for locking. It's a long story. Don't worry. Prometheus and InfluxDB running both seem to be fine at decent scale. Yeah, I thought about, if we use something like InfluxDB and we pick some of those existing applications for time series for like log, I think real-time chat is like a no-brainer pick for a time series database. I do. I think it might be because that's a sweet spot, right? Its sweet spot is a lot of data that's time-based. So I think it's like a natural pick. We're kind of going down the fun part, right? So the fun part for me is engineering new applications and writing them. That's actually why I like doing this so much. But I would, yeah. There's a lot of, but we're gonna have to weigh InfluxDB versus. Redis is just key value, so that's not enough, right? That's not going to be enough. It's possible we could stuff something like this into Redis because all we really need is the time, the user, and the message. That's it. In fact, but we have to decide whether we want it to be an event store as opposed to a message store. And I probably want it to be an event store. Is Go for chat? I know, but it wouldn't be just chat. See, I want to talk about that because I want the whole entire thing to be event-based. So the things that are getting written are not just chat. The things that are getting written are events. So this is how Twitch does its API. So when somebody subs, that's an event, and it shows up on the timeline. When somebody says an emoji, it's a thing. When they give bits, it's a thing. When they quote, they're all specializations of a message, so to speak. But so Redis queue or Rabbit or Kafka, I don't know. I haven't looked at this stuff at all. That's one of the reasons I want to do it. But one of the reasons I'm so excited is I get to like dig into the internals of some of these other core application infrastructure pieces, and as well as hopefully not diverting too much from deploying them for CKAD. But I definitely want to do something that's ultimately going to benefit from the load balancing and the all the great amazing or container orchestration stuff that comes with. Something as simple as making sure that I build ephemeral container pods for this kind of stuff from the get-go instead of just writing my own agent. I want to, as I'm developing the different pieces, I want to make sure that I'm developing in an ephemeral way so that I'm not. And Elastisearch, by the way, is just brilliant at handling this shit. It is so smart. It's amazing. It scales well by keeping the size of the PV low, 1 gig, and then it scales up by adding a new pod. So some of these database scaling ideas by adding new blocks and stuff from the old school way, they kind of been implemented by let's just add another pod with 1 gig of PV. Boom. and then make it, replicated across, one or two other things. So it's not overly, there's not too much overhead for that pod being replicated. Are you looking, Louis Senti? We stumped him. He's been looking for a long time for our thing. That is exactly the one. Of course he comes through. He comes through. This is exactly the one I was looking for. Louis Senti, if I had money to give you, I would do it right now. I'm serious. I would give you the money. This guy, Louis Senti, is got. That's why he's VIP. Anybody wonder why Louis Senti's VIP? Louis Senti can find. He gets the sleuth award. I'm gonna make achievements for the community, and like if you're the best sleuth, you can like win the sleuth award. If you have, we can like categorize our points. This is why I want to make this application. By the way, I'm gonna categorize the points. I'm gonna give you like, see, like for this, I would have given him like 100 points for sleuthing. He just sleuthed out this thing that we couldn't figure out, right? And now we all know it, and because of him or her, I suspect it's a him, but I don't know. I have to be careful with that. I don't know. Oh wait, here we go. So yeah, so you got the article even. Oh my God, you're the best. So yeah, I've been trying to say this. So this is what Istio is. Really sleek, nice logos, and then Go is super goofy. Yeah, that's I always like. Yeah, that's how you tell how good the web pages are too. It's like, the depth of knowledge and skill of a technologist is inversely proportional to how cool their website is. Think about it. Think about it. It's totally true. If you think about it, you'll eventually come to agree. You don't have your site at all anymore. How's it going, Aaron Dev? Welcome. Only one Go is stylized. Yeah. This is going in my list. Oh wait, I did the screenshot out of turn. I did it wrong. Fuck. Where's the link? Shit. I'm not doing well today. I'm not doing well. Zet. Screenshot. All right, where is it again? I did all of that, and then I think I actually. Wait, is it going to use it? I wonder if it's going to use it. Let me see if it's going to use it. It did, or did it? We shall see. Istio covers what Kubernetes does not. That's what's up. Is that open last? I have to go check and make sure I got the right picture. Yep, there we go. God, Lucenti, I wish I could pay you bits. I put that in. I wish we could pay you bits. According to the beginner boost, 2021, I hope. Or more Linux in just a few hours and stacking up a bunch of Linux related books. Oh man, can I quote you on that? That is very kind of you to say that. I really appreciate that. Can I? When people say things like that, I like kind of try to keep them. I'll make it anonymous if you want. Can I please say that? Yeah. Oh wait, wrong thing. That is so nice for you to say. I really appreciate you saying that. And reasons. So, I mean, God knows I'm not getting rich at this. Who knows? Maybe. What is rich though? Define rich. Yeah, that's like fireplace or whatever, fireplace talk. Yeah. It'll be great to learn more and more Linux, and then stacking up a bunch of Linux related books. Yeah, I mean there is a good book out there, a couple of them. Here's your $5. Oh, fuck. Thank you for that. That's very nice. Thank you. And what did you do? According to Wikipedia, this is the website for Ron Pike. Exactly. This web Pike. I'm going to make a video about that. Remind me to make a video about that later. We need to bring this back. Yeah, here's Brian Ford. He made Peg. Brian Ford Peg. I love his example too. So here's his website. Here's his homepage. This is it. This is his whole webpage. Like if you go look like Bluth, like Don Bluth, go look at like Don Bluth's one too, or JGM. I'm telling you, yeah, the amount of actual knowledge is inversely proportional to how awesome their website is. That's not TJ is actually not true because he's a photographer and everything, so his site's actually really cool. So there's a couple places where that really breaks down. But thank you for that. So commit data, add nice comment, git push. Just had to add that to my CV really quick. It's not. I need to go through my CV and fix it all. So what are we doing? We got 30 minutes left before I go do my run. And next week I'm gonna take you on my run with me. I am. I'm gonna put my GoPro on. I'm gonna take you. You guys are gonna suffer through listening to me pant and die. That way, if I actually collapse, you can like call the authorities, and I can get swatted in a good way. I'll give you the general area where I'm running, and like seriously, some of my intervals I like cannot even fucking. I watched Hitch the other day like push through a tiny little thing where in Portugal where he could have died, and he was like panting into the microphone. I was like, if he can do that, I can definitely take these guys running with me. So, Senior Cloud Native Dark Souls themed stream. Yeah. Is it making a sponsor goal for doing Twitch full time? It's just there. And by the way, thank you for those $5 subs. I've been getting $5, quite a few. Recently I've got more than one. Last couple of weeks I got a few more than usual GitHub subs, sponsors, and appreciate that. I don't want to dwell on it because we're making a video here, but that link was too hard to find. Which link? That was hard to find. Which one? I don't know which one. Here, let's think here. Is that link last? All right. Oh, that's not it. Give me a second. Is that link micro? I have to find a unique word for this stuff. Bash shit. Kubernetes mesh doesn't. I don't know. I'm trying. Give me a sec. There. I mean, this is the. Yeah. And then the link to that, Louis Senti posted that, which I should also do. Actually, let's go visit it. Copy link address. Let's go find it. So let's go to the links address, and I'll bookmark this in my links bookmarks. I like links bookmarks better because it's just HTML, and then I can integrate them with my thing here. Like I just have to do this. I just have to do links A, and it'll add the link from my links bookmarks, and so it just puts it here. That's definitely the one. That is the one. Thank you so much for finding that, Louis Sente. I'm just going to say that again. Thank you so much. It takes a smaller percentage than Twitch on Patreon. Yeah, that's why I do it that way. That's why I do get it. Plus, you get if you want, you can get your face on there, and you get your happy face. And also on your page, it shows who you're sponsoring, which to me is a good thing to show. When somebody goes to your GitHub website, they're going to see that you're sponsoring people. I think that's awesome. And a technology that shows you're truly committed to FOSS is you're out there. And I'm actually only sponsoring one person right now, but I want to start finding more that I can sponsor. I think it's fantastic. In fact, I think it's one of the greatest things from the whole Microsoft move in GitHub. I think a lot of that is coming from Microsoft despite the fact that they, reclassified educational content and kicked me off because my stuff no longer qualified, which was annoying, but whatever. Hey, Vlad, how do you use services for learning DevOps from zero? I've been trying to collect them as much as possible. First of all, I wouldn't use the word DevOps. I made a video about that last night, actually. Go watch the video about avoiding the term DevOps, and you might start there. I have a playlist for the stuff that I'm learning. If you want to kind of stick with that, I did a video called "What are the prerequisites for Kubernetes," which is the same as DevOps, and you can go watch that video. Dennis actually recommended that video. Last Miles also recommended that video to people, so go watch that one. Do I have a particular tool set? Yeah, I mean, there's so many things. That's kind of the problem. Yeah, you leave your sponsors visible. Yeah, but I don't want to come across as a virtual signaling douche either. Yeah, and that's another reason I struggled with it Infinite, but then I let them make the choice. You know what I mean? It's like, Project Phoenix. Oh shit. How's it going, Polomars? So what do we got going here? We've got we got a lot of stuff here. So we were talking a lot about the application that we're going to build, and I got really excited about it because I'm going to actually make a Twitch bot that is a Kubernetes deployment that stores everything to an internal Kubernetes source, and then coordinates all of the extra thing. And we're going to be start doing diagrams and stuff on that. I kind of want to do it right now. I'm so excited about that because I love development, but Black Mouse has been keeping my feet on the ground, saying you're not going to learn CKAD if you get sucked into making an application, and he's right. So we probably should do an Elastisearch deployment first, but I just want to let you know. So I'm going to make a decision here. Note that RWX rob.tv schedule will have specifics. So I'm gonna, like, instead of playing Dota, sometimes I'm gonna work on my app because that'll keep me motivated because I want to do it right. And installing Istio and Elasticsearch is like, blah. But I need to do it. I need to learn how to do it. After that, it's Elastic. Yeah. Project Phoenix is Project Phoenix is the book that I'm thinking about. A roadmap to learn DevOps to get a job. Yeah. Vlad, please watch the prerequisites to Kubernetes video. I did an hour-long video on that very topic. That probably get you farther along. Make a Dota app. Linux, Git, Bash, Basic, Python, and Golang. Yeah. And I have that in there. I actually made a list of that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, here I'll give it to you. So Z titles, I can get you the link actually right now. It was a question and answer. It was a Q&A session. Let me think here. It would be something. Nope. Z find prereq. There it is. Edit. All right, so here's the video. Copy link. I'll paste it for you. There. Louis Sente, all right, you beat me. Louis Sente beat me posting the link. Seriously, dude, you're the best. Thank you so much. Dude, he's like, what is his word? He's like the quartermaster. Not that. That's a different thing. That's like deciding what you get, right? But there's the answer. So you got a lot to learn before you dive into it. Certificates. Okay, so certificates are not in the CKAD, but they are way important. Black Mouse, do you know if CKAD is in there? He's like my Jarvis. He kind of is. Louis Sente is totally my Jarvis. Yeah, it's funny because I got him computing on that other one, and it took him a little bit longer than usual. It was like a higher machine learning. He's probably just a machine learning algorithm in real life. So, what was I going to say? I was talking about, before we got down the Jarvis path. What were we talking about? I'm very eccentric. Okay, so we have 30 minutes left on this before I gotta go do my run. And how's it going, useless pony? Comes around a lot. I guess is good. Oh yeah, absolutely comes around, Grandpa. Grandpa. I the hard question, but I didn't. Where CCAD is there? Well, the problem is I don't. Okay, so what you're saying is it's because CCAD is mostly CKA stuff. Yeah, I think that in deploying Elastisearch and deploying Istio is going to hit a lot of CCAD stuff because you said Black Mouse sounds like they know more than I do, and I think what you're saying is that because of the CKA content, deploying these applications that have already been written, which means we spend zero time writing the application. When I think about SAP, I don't. We have some great members here. Are you a spy for QMacro? Are you a spy? Do you know QMacro? QMacro is one of our favorite members here in our community. I love QMacro. He's a great sponsor too. I love that dude. I do. He comes in here every once in a while. He's so busy. He comes in here and goes, "Hey, I'm here, waving." He's not here right now. He'll probably be here this weekend. So, but he's like he's a writer for SAP. He does training and everything. I think SAP is a great product if you need it. I obviously don't need it, so I've never been involved with it. If you learn SAP, you would probably have that's actually probably a good AMA question, and so that would be something for maybe tomorrow. What did I do? Did I change the organization from? Okay, so let's move on. Let's make some other CCAD stuff. Let's see today. Okay, so just so you know, tomorrow is going to have beginner content on it, starting at 11 a.m. At 11 a.m. tomorrow, we're going to have beginner content, and that includes AMA and that kind of thing. So, CKA equals CCAD plus cluster installation and tuning. Right. So I think installing applications that are complicated is probably a good way to get prepared for the CKAD. It does, and particularly those that have Helm charts involved, and this does have that. The ECK stack has a pretty involved Helm chart. So, I mean, it's crazy. The Elastisearch YAML has links in it. That's how crazy it is. At least you can. Yeah. Anyway, so I got a question. So let's actually get to the next point, this final point before we end tonight. Today we have like another 20 minutes. What are we going to build this stuff on? And I've covered this question so much during my co-learning. I've gone all the way through kind of Minikube. I've even tried to do kubeadm deployments in host containers by getting them to have systemd and tricking the system like kind does into using those. And I'm building out hardware IRL. Beginning on Monday, you'll be able to watch me do that. I'm going to reanimate this entire room. I'm going to go for it. I don't know if I have enough power to do it. We're going to find out. And there's some people who have some debate about Minikube and kind, and I have a feeling that we're not going to be able to do Minikube because of the PV constraints. So Minikube. So I'm going to put this here. So not yet ready. Building out IRL on stream starting next week. I'm super excited about this because this is something I can stream over my phone with a reliable Wi-Fi, and even when I'm reconnecting the internet, I can just do the Wi-Fi. I can do the streaming from my phone, so you can see me doing that. It probably won't be really high res, but you can see me. I'm super excited, and actually, the fact that I can do the IRL streaming of that has motivated me to do lots of other things, like clean my room, and go get the hardware and let you guys make fun of me trying to get the connections and stuff because I can talk you through it. Actually, Last Smiles inspired me to do this. I was watching him the other day, and he just doesn't give. He has no fucks to give. He just points his camera wherever, and he's just got all this stuff around, And I'm gonna do it. Cloud. I don't. If we use cloud, it's going to be expensive, and I don't think using cloud is going to be. Is going to be a thing, expensive to get all the nodes to model complex deployment. I don't, particularly for training. Linode, yeah, it is. Linode and DigitalOcean are both kinds, but if you're going to be paying, if you want to actually set up your own nodes, that means you're paying a minimum of $5 a month for each new computer, each new virtual machine. And so if you want to do it that way, right? If you go for one of their Kubernetes cluster offerings, they just give it to you, right? But then you miss out on all the stuff you would do in the cluster, like, you know, clustering lab is about 15, 20 nodes, yeah, and so it gets a little bit crazy. So kind, I'm told, doesn't have good PV emulation or support, and that's what I'm told by Black Mouse. So and you stand by that, right, Black Mouse? You've done some of this stuff. I mean, Tannywall would be here, would be giving me shit, I'm sure, if you were here too. And so I feel like, you know, kind is kind of the darling of cluster API too, which let's put that the darling of the cluster API world. In fact, the cluster API, if you don't know what that is, cluster API is this new thing. It came out, 1.0 version of it came out like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and it's a way of managing metal through a provider, whether that be a virtual hypervisor or it be an actual bare metal provider, and it's supported by lots of things. So, but in order to even deploy the cluster API, you have to have a management cluster, which they suggest you bootstrap in Kind, because you have to have a cluster, and Kind is the fastest way to get a cluster. Kind is also was also built to do specifically to do Kubernetes development, you know, application development and testing. So it was actually built. In fact, from what I understand, the creator of Kubernetes, we should probably give the guy who made Kind of credit here. From what I understand, let's go find Lucente. You want it? The person who created, I don't remember the names, and so I know Lucente, if he's still there. So Kind was the creator of Kind, was given an award from the Cloud Native Foundation for building it to allow for that. We're looking to evaluate Minikube K3s versus Kind. K3s is not on the table to replace our local dev environment for application. Oh, are you really? Or anyone else? Which should we go with? It really depends. It really depends on Boogie Bugs. We're actually trying to answer that same question, but our priorities are on. So we are prioritizing an authentic experience for true learning. So I want as close. Hey, Coderus, welcome. So, you know, we definitely want an authentic experience for true learning. If anything goes wrong here, you know, obviously the best one that I want, we're not using K3s. K3s takes too many. Let's put it here though. So K3s is, I mean, you can call it micro Kubernetes. They're not the same. Is it K3s or K3OS or Minikube? I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff there in that area now. Not a full Kubernetes implementation. It's not even a complete implementation. So you can't use it to practice infrastructure administration. You know, I'm going to say obviously the best just takes a lot of infra work to set up. Okay, so it's not yet ready. Eventually I'm going to be doing microcates. Yeah, microcates is another example of that. It's the same sort of problem. In fact, they kind of go together. That's the canonical offering, which is that microcates is actually really interesting to me. I want to do it, but it's specifically designed for small scale edge deployments that use Kubernetes as an architecture for a small scale Kubernetes. So for example, Mars, you know, newer Mars rovers and stuff like that, they're going to do the Kubernetes model for IoT deployment on smaller devices, which is fucking amazing. I really, really, really want to get into that eventually, because I really want to do the embedded kind of, you know, stuff. I like the small scale stuff. But it's definitely not for mainstream Kubernetes. Now, the cool thing, so Yeah, IoT edge computing wrapped in Kubernetes-ish cluster. Yeah, so that's a great description of that. Thanks, Black Mouse. So I really like it, but it's not. It's it's specifically uh, designed for small scale IoT slash edge deployments and and implementations, I guess. And so I don't want to complicate the issue. So things like PV scale and stuff like that, they're totally different. I mean, I don't even know if micro Kubernetes even does persistent volumes. I couldn't even tell you. And if it does, are we renting, trying to replace our container-based devs environment? But check out Podman at first. Actually, Black, you weren't here for the Podman. I went through an entire Podman thing. Dude, you don't believe me? Watch, I'll show you. I got the proof. I documented the proof. I completely flip-flopped on Podman. Yeah. Podman has massive problems, though, that I ran into on stream. So here it is. I said, Zet, fine, Podman. You weren't here for this. You were doing other stuff. But I actually had like 2 days where I thought that Podman was going to be better than Docker, and because it adds systemd to all your containers by default, and I was trying to do host containers that simulated workstations, and whatever hosts, I call them host containers, and Podman actually injected systemd into it. The problem is that then I started to use the Podman driver for Minikube, which is totally fucked up, and then I started to use Podman driver for Kind, and it is totally fucked up, and I was like, oh my god, I can't cross over and add the two together. But there's a lot of reasons that Podman is superior when you're dealing with systemd in particular. You don't have to do things like mount proc NFS C groups, right? So to get it on there, it takes care of all that magic for you because it's just using containerd instead of Dockerd. It's a pretty complicated conclusion that I had to come to. And it's not a problem for Podman. If you're just using Podman alone and you're not using anything else, you can kind of do that. It's a problem for Minikube and Kind. It absolutely is. In fact, it's an open issue on Minikube and Kind. Both of them are trying to fix themselves to work with Podman. But I was super disappointed because it kind of, when I found out that Podman did systemd and I was trying to get systemd so I could emulate, kubeadm won't even install. You can't even do kubeadm init unless you have an init system. And I looked through the source code of Kubernetes to figure it out. I actually found that. Init. So add init system to containers, PowerShell. Yeah, please. Anyway, yeah. So actually, I think it's in this one, but it shows you. Let me check this. That might be it. No, that's not it. No. Talking about add systemd to all containers. Here we go. Yeah, Kube and Minikube effectively don't support it. I don't remember what my note is on this. I'll have to go find it. Cryo, yeah. Anyway, so there's one in there somewhere that has that problem. I'm sorry, I had a note at work I have to read really quick. Oh, I have to okay this. This is like really important. People get problems with Keycloak. Yeah. We have to look at Keycloak too. That's like another application that, there's so many applications you could install to get experience with them. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it is a son of a bitch. So we just hit a problem with Keycloak that says some users' passwords with special characters or a combination of characters will not work. So certain passwords are not accepted and they're silently failing Keycloak, and it causes them to have problems. So this is super important. I'm actually going to make a Zettelkasten on this right now. Right after this, probably. What are the digits? These are something called the ISOSEC. This is my Zet. This is my note taking system. Yeah. ISOSEC. This tells you what it is. So, Zet chat. Here, there you go. You can go read about it. Oh wait, or not. Yeah, I got a problem right now because my chat's not working because I didn't do open it up in Tmax. I'm sorry for that. But yeah. And so anyway, so I think we made the final decision here. We got 10 minutes left. So what are we gonna do next? Here is too much rant provoking question. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, is that the one? No. My Tmux is not the way I normally use it. That's why I'm a little slower with it right now. Yeah. So I was trying to give you your that chat. Let me do it again. So what was it? Zet find. Is it chat? You're not found. Okay, let me give it to you here. Here, I'll just copy this. Copy link. I think that's it. Paste. Yep, there you go. So that's the read up on ISOSEC if you want to know what that is. Yeah. So actually I need to write a note about this. This is a big deal. I got to put this in Keycloak and put it out there because this is kind of a note I would forget later. It doesn't have any remediation on it yet, so I want to be able to put that in there. Just a reminder, I am at work, so I'm trying to span. They're okay with us studying and stuff on Fridays, so particularly if it's related to Elastisearch installation, which is our immediate priority. So, in fact, that's what you're going to see me do later tonight when I come back, depending on how much time friendliness I want to have. Tomorrow, so let's kind of wrap up here. So again, I've told people if they want to check into the end of the video or to the beginning of the video, they can kind of get a sense of what the video is about really quickly without having to watch the whole video. So if you come to one of these 2-hour long co-learning sessions, like what are they even talking about? Go all the way to the end and then look at the outline, and then you can decide if there's something in there that you want to watch the whole thing for. So let's actually go through that. Yeah, Istio is a tire fire. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't like it, but it's the best we got, and apparently goes Google's gatekeeping on it. So I don't know. We'll find out. So I'm gonna just Quint. Shit, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Zed's completely open source except for it's kind of in a mess right now. So yeah, my Zettelkasten tool is a mess. It's just an undocumented script right now. Eventually it'll be better. But yeah, if you want it, I can get it to you. So yep, it's so let's see, giver. This isn't gonna work either. It's not because I just realized that's yeah, here we go. Copy link location. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm just about to go for a run here, which starting next week I'll be able to take you with me. We can talk while we're running when I'm not panting. But for today I'm gonna go run and come back. So let's actually end this video now, and I'm going to quickly summarize the things that we've come up with. So this is the place, Mark, this is the place you want to come if you want to see what's up, right? So, and we're going to conclude on our decision. So we talked a lot about Kubernetes applications development and the path for the co-learning going forward with this. We've already decided in earlier sessions that we need to break up our Kubernetes learning into applications development and deployment, which is important or different, and administration, even though it turns out CKAD, according to Black Mouse and others, is about 60-70% CKA administration stuff. And so we've already made that decision. So what are we going to do? How are we going to learn it? There's a number of things you can do online, but obviously to me, the best way to do it is to deploy things and to build things, get your hands dirty with it. So what is that going to look like? So there seems to be two approaches, as I've said: install an application to understand the concepts, and actually create and deploy a new application. So we tried to pick a project because at work we're doing Elastisearch deployment right now using the ECK stack, which is a thing you'll have to look up someplace else. We also need to deploy Istio, even though I hate Istio. These are applications that are really core. They'll probably be the first thing somebody asks you to deploy in a Kubernetes cluster after it's been stood up, if you're at any kind of scale. So those are two applications I need to get my head around, and I feel like, especially Elastisearch, because of its use of PV, persistent volume controls and stuff like that, and load balancing and things like that. Istio, of course. So these are applications that hopefully will touch a lot of the pieces of Kubernetes along the way, so that we don't have gaps. And then we can build. There's videos about that too in our own dev. There's people who have like made their own systems. There's a guy who made a Golang version of it, who made his own system on GitLab. You can get actually Louis Senti linked to his project out there. He was inspired by this one and he made his own. So there's a few people who have their own. I encourage you to make your own too. We're talking about the Zettelcast and stuff. All right, so we concluded that the first thing I'm gonna be doing is installing Elastisearch, and you'll need to look at the schedule to see for specifics. You can follow the Google Calendar if you prefer. And I'm going to be starting to put CKAD Colearning there, but we're gonna be doing creating your own Zettelcast is a fantastic project for learning. It's really great, and you can riff on it however you want to. And so then what? Then we can do, we can decide. Now, I really want to build this online live community tool, but I think I'm probably going to have two projects going on at the same time. Probably shouldn't do that though. We should probably just get Elastisearch installed and just call it a day. We should install Elastisearch and then do the live community stuff, right? Because that's applications development, and members of the community are like, we're going to spend too much time doing development. But the point is my Go is getting rusty, right? So my Go is getting rusty and my scripting is getting rusty. And during all of this Kubernetes, preparation, I don't want to lose my coding skills. So there's a part of me that, rather than playing Dota, is going to come back, and I'm going to continue to do the live community development because it's just going to keep my development good. Thanks, Quint. Community projects. I think there will be quite a few people who would like to join. I know, and actually Quint's one of them. So it's good to have Quint here. So Quint actually was very instrumental in helping us get the Pagan project out, which also needs love. We need to go back. Quint, by the way, we need to go back, and someplace we need to put our original functional parser in there so that we have it as a point of reference. I mean, it's another project that's more of a Go thing. So your Go's getting rusty too, because you've been doing a lot of Rust, haven't you? That's fine. That's cool. You might see a little less Switcher and Dota and a little more, writing community applications that we can farm out. If we do this right, people, if we do this, the reason microservices were invented in the first place at Amazon was because they wanted to farm out all the work and then have them interact with each other. So, don't get good with Rust. Trust me, don't. And then you guys, we can say, okay, make this module. As long as we agree on the API, we can all run off and you could write the YouTube integration. You could write the Matrix integration. You could write the Twitch integration, the Discord integration, whatever. And then we can have different teams write the integration modules as pods, bring them together as microservices in a single deployment, and then, leverage Kubernetes for what it's for. And I'm super excited, obviously, about that. It probably comes across in my voice. I'm super excited about being able to write an application that leverages all of the scaling and orchestration benefits of Kubernetes, period. And I mean, I'm the guy, I want to scratch my own itch kind of thing. And that sounds gross, but it's true. I want to fix things. Are you still using Pagan? Oh my God, you're using it more than I am, probably. We need to make a library, that library for live regex replacement. Oh my God, we got to do that. So Quint's here. He's talking about pagan.dev. If anybody wants to hear about it, it's another project that I spent a summer on, and I still haven't I've got all those diagrams done, and we got to do that too. There's just not enough time in a day. All right. Thank God for people like Quint who've helped out with that. And so Kubernetes platform to build on. Okay. So then the end of this stream, we decided, we talked a lot about Istio and diagramming and stuff like that. It's all in the show notes. Here's the show notes. You can go look for them in the Zet. These numbers are referring to my Zettelcast and entries. You can go find them. I'm not going to link to them because they might move and they wouldn't be there, and the links would be broken, and I don't want to do that. So here we go. Yeah, that's another part of it. Social Dawn, welcome. Are you really enjoying the stream? Oh, that's really nice. Thank you, Socialite. So what Kubernetes platform to which to build? So we have beat this horse to death. That's such a horrible image. Who even says that anymore? I'm not saying that ever again. Why would you beat a horse to death? Where the fuck did these terms come from that are like stuck in my head from ancient days? They're like so inappropriate. I'm not beating a horse. I like horses. Why would I beat a horse to death? All right. I had to make a big point of that so I don't ever say it again. So prioritizing an authentic, let's just say, because it's useless, I guess. A useless pony says, because the horse is dead, go on without it. Okay. You're beating a horse that is already dead. I kind of am. Hey, Mark in North Carolina. The great state of North Carolina. By the power invested in me from the great state of North Carolina, I pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. I'll never forget that. I bought my wife for $25. I bought my wife for $25 at the Iredell County Justice of the Peace. Came outside, stood under a tree, married me. And then we had a semi-official thing. True story. No, beat the dead horse. Oh my God. I blame them. I started it though, so it's my fault. Okay, anyway, Minikube is a thing until it's not. And when it's not a thing, it's really not a thing. It has a lot of great things. Like I love automatic ingress and automatic load balancing and auto URLs, those things for you, so you don't have to deal with it. That's all great until it's not. So we're going to be using Kind. I'm going to try to use Kind, which is the darling of the cluster API world. Also has lots of people building it. Basically, Kind just puts everything into containers. So you have unlimited storage and stuff because you're just using your local Docker container stuff. See ya, narrative. We're about done anyway. I'm just summarizing. Cloud, to do it in the cloud is expensive to get as many nodes as I want, which it's been suggested 20 nodes or so. And that's true. If you want to set up HA, you need at least 3 control planes. And if you want to do true HA with ZCD, that means you need 3 control planes. It means you need 3 hosts in addition to those control planes. So that means you need a minimum of 6 machines just for HA control plane nodes. That's not counting the workers or anything. So that can get expensive. So we're going to stay off cloud. People talk about micro Kubernetes, which is for small implementations on IoT. It doesn't even have some of the stuff that we need to pass for Kubernetes. So that's out. And hardware, putting it on your own hardware, even if it's old crappy hardware and Raspberry Pis, is the best way to go. It's just going to take me a long time, and I'm going to start IRL streaming my building of my HA cluster, hardware cluster next week. But the building of that hardware is going to take time, so look for that. You'll probably see CKS Kubernetes CKA hardware or something like that in the schedule when I'm doing this one. So that, oh no, are you going to shock me? Don't shock me in a bad way. I'm afraid. You're scaring me. We're all waiting. I know about TinyGo. Dude, I know about that when you were in diapers. I did. You were away. We actually covered TinyGo. I love you. It's funny because you're an embedded guy too. We actually hit TinyGo pretty heavy these other guys will tell you, and gals, we hit TinyGo pretty heavily the last couple of days. And I gave the whole spiel about when we did mentoring. I have a guy who was doing embedded, and we tried TinyGo for an art project here actually, and it doesn't have support for Go routines. And we were talking about that versus actually MacGyver was here for that. Yeah, and everybody was like, "There's a TinyGo, what?" Yeah. Scale. You found it a couple of weeks ago? What? Oh, well, I'm glad you found it. I mean, I would think you would really, really love it. Hey, can I, Black Mouse, can I have you try something? Because we haven't tested it recently. Can you see if Go routines are supported? When we tested it, Go routines were not supported. You didn't have true concurrency in the Go routines. If you happen to get to that level, please let me know. Yeah. What's going on? Is everybody okay here? You can add WASI support for Go, please. Thank you. Okay. I bet there is. Yeah, because of we were talking about the low level stuff. It doesn't have it because there's no Lux. Yeah. I don't know if GC's involved, but yeah. I have a feeling it's not. So, but if you're doing other projects, it might be fun for that kind of thing. There was a bunch of people who didn't know about it who got really excited. Yeah, on the stream. And I'd like been there, done that because I got frustrated because I put a lot of time into it because I was going to use that instead of C for this project, this art project we still haven't finished that I talked about before. It's this art project for Bob Troutman. He's a big artist. He's a sculptor and wood sculptor, and we wanted to make these corporate heads like rotate and synchronize and everything. We were going to code it with a microcontroller, and we were going to have to do it with C and then synchronize them and have modes and have callback event, handling kind of architecture and all this stuff. And then I thought, I wonder if I can just code it all in it on an ARM instead of a microcontroller and then do it in Go with TinyGo. But TinyGo will go to a microcontroller. I thought, I can use concurrent Go routines to manage the synchronicity of all of this, and I wouldn't have to deal with writing all of that. And then we tried it, and no, because obvious hardware reasons that I am just beginning to understand. Because I'm not an embedded engineer, I would love to be. So someone needed to be somewhere in that sentence. Tiny, yes. So yeah, I'm just gonna wrap up this video now for the YouTube. So YouTubers, hang tight. Come on in to rwxrob.tv if you want to join us in real anytime. Oh wow, thanks for the bits. Oh my god. I'm actually gonna go for a run. I will be back on tonight for most of the night. I'll be streaming different things until if and when my wife comes home from her studio. She got this new studio, so she spends a lot of time there. Thank God, she's just so happy. By the way, my wife, and tonight will stalk my wife on Instagram just to kind of to follow her and stuff. I like to do that live. It's kind of fun. So come join us. Otherwise, have a great Friday and watch the calendar for stuff. Bye.